You were doing well, and then you weren't. It wasn't an obvious failure. It wasn't a day where you quit for good. It was quieter than that. The new version of you. The one who wakes up early, eats better, speaks more clearly, stops self-sabotaging, simply didn't show up. And the old version came back, like nothing had happened. This happens to a lot of people.
And the question that changes everything isn't what did I do wrong? It's this. Why does your system allow the new version on a good day, but rejects it on a hard day? This video is about the mechanism and a practical method to make the new version become your floor, not a peak. Before we start, this does not replace therapy, medical care, or professional counseling. It's a practice of attention, emotion, and behavior. Quick check. If you recognize yourself in 2 or more, you're in the right place. You change for a few days, and then you disappear on a hard day. You snap back to the old pattern automatically, you try to compensate, and it gets worse. You pressure yourself and fall into all or nothing, you know what to do, but you can't sustain it. Here's the central question. Why can you be the new version on a good day, but not keep that version when life gets messy? Maxwell Maltz observed something useful. Self-image works like a thermostat. You can rise for a few days. More discipline, more courage, more clarity. But if your deeper self-image is still set to I go back, your system tends to pull you back to the old normal. Not because you're broken, because your brain prefers coherence. It tries to align behavior with identity.
If you act far above your identity for a short time, the system doesn't update the thermostat. It labels it a peak, and peaks feel unstable. The update doesn't come from a leap. It comes from steady repetition, small enough for the system to register. This is also me. Bruce Lipton explains it in a useful way. A lot of what we call me runs like a program, and programs change through repetition and evidence, not promises.
Call back to remember. The thermostat shifts on normal days, and especially on hard days. If you take one thing from this video, take this. A small action that represents the new you and fits in 2 to 5 minutes. The main training isn't never falling, it's fall and come back. You increase only when the minimum becomes easy. Almost no decision. 1 line per day to create proof and see the pattern. Here's the part most people miss. This is not a method to be strong. It's a method to install identity. To make that happen, you'll need 3 hard but simple decisions. Choose sustainable over impressive. Your ego wants a minimum that looks big and worthy. Your nervous system wants predictability. So you choose what's repeatable, not what's admirable. Separate a slip from a sentence. Slips will happen. A sentence is when you use the slip as proof of the old identity. See, I can't sustain. The method removes the sentence and keeps the data. Today I slipped, tomorrow I return. Train return, not performance. Performance is the perfect day. Return is the real day. When you do the minimum on a hard day, you train what actually changes identity. Return. And one detail that saves the method. The minimum isn't the final goal. The minimum is the floor. The floor does 2 things. It keeps you from falling into nothing.
It keeps you from bouncing back into everything and burning out again. You start low on purpose, so you can come back. 90-second procedure. Do it while you watch. Choose one area, just one. Body, work is creation, communication, relationships, health, study. Write the identity in a simple sentence. I'm becoming someone who see ya. I'm becoming the kind of person who shows up, even on hard days. Now ask, what's the smallest visible action that proves that today? Visible means an outsider could look at your day and say, yes, that happened. Turn it into a 2 to 5 minute minimum that starts in 10 seconds. If it can't start in 10 seconds, it won't survive a hard day. Example, just to see the logic. I'm becoming someone who takes care of my body. Put on shoes and walk 5 minutes. I'm becoming someone who creates. Open the document and write 2 lines. I'm becoming someone who speaks clearly. Say 1 clear sentence. Good. You just moved from promise mode to data mode. Now let me show you what this looks like in real life. No poetry. Morning. You do the minimum, 2 to 5 minutes, before your mind starts negotiating afternoon. If the day derails, you don't save the day. You do a micro-return, 2 minutes night. You track one line and decide tomorrow's minimum. Tracking so it doesn't become drama. Tracking isn't an emotional journal, it's data. 3 simple options. 1. An X on a calendar. 2. A one-line note on your phone. 3. A checklist. Done, not done. One-line template. Today I did my minimum sadhus, or today I slipped. Tomorrow I return with sake sant. This feels small, but it prevents a huge problem. Your brain stops deleting your evidence and only remembering your falls. This is where most people miss. Either they pick a minimum that's too big, or a pretty minimum that depends on mood and ideal conditions. You'll choose your minimum with 3 criteria, then run 2 quick tests. Criterion 1. Clear start starts in 10 seconds. If it requires 15 minutes of getting ready, it's not a minimum. Criterion 2. Measurable, done, not done. Not take better care of myself, but did X, because the brain doesn't register intention. It registers events. Criterion 3. Not mood-dependent, fits exhausted. If it only works when you feel motivated, it's not a minimum. It's a peak.
3 pairs, wrong minimum versus right minimum. Body, wrong. Workout 40 minutes, right? Put on shoes and walk 5 minutes. Work in creation. Wrong. Write a full page. Right. Open the doc and write 2 lines. Communication boundaries. Wrong. Have the full conversation and solve everything. Right. Say 1 clear sentence. I prefer it this way. That doesn't work for me. I need some time. 2 tests. Test 1, the hard day test. Can I do this on a truly bad day? If the answer is only if I'm okay, lower it. Test 2, the hesitation test. If you hesitate 10 minutes to do 2 minutes, the minimum is still too high. The point of a minimum is to reduce decision. When the minimum is correct, it becomes almost automatic. The minimum that is honest versus the minimum that is a trap. Honest minimum, small but it's behavior trap. Minimum, small but it's only intention. Trap minimums. I'll think about it. I'll get inspired. I'll organize. Useful sometimes, but not evidence. Honest minimums use action verbs with visible results. Sent, opened, wrote, walked, said, noted. Done, not done rule. If you can't answer at the end of the day without debating, did I do it or not? Then it's not a minimum. If you get the minimum right today, the rest of this video becomes easier.
Because from here on, you're not looking for motivation, you're training return. When the fear of self-deception hits, if I do only this, I'm fooling myself. Most of the time, that's the old thermostat defending all or nothing. The antidote is simple. You don't promise expansion, you promise return. Instead of I'll change my life, you say, I'll do the minimum today and return tomorrow, and even if I slip. That tends to be the kind of promise the brain accepts. Ryan wanted to be the kind of person who writes. For years, he alternated between high-output sprints and months of avoiding the document. Under that pattern was one identity sentence: I start and stop. He chose a minimum, open the document and write 2 lines. Watch the method live. Day 1, 2 lines, that's minimum. The brain registers it happened. Day 2, 2 lines, that's repeat. Repeat starts to become pattern. Day 3, late meeting, exhausted. Here comes the slip. The old self wants tomorrow. He makes one decision. 1 line counts. He writes 1 line. That's return. And that's the data that changes the game. Day 6, he remembers late, already in bed. Phone in night mode, room dark, that just tomorrow. This is the moment that separates peak from return. He gets up, writes the 2 lines, goes back to bed. That's return again. The system doesn't learn from peaks. It learns from returns. Step. After a few weeks, 2 lines became 5, then 10. Not because he doubled out of anxiety, but because it got easy. Track, he marked an X on a calendar. No drama, just data. And on the days he wrote almost nothing, he still marked the X. Because he wasn't tracking quality, he was tracking identity. I showed up. And when he had a full 0 day, the track became 1 sentence. Today I didn't do it. Tomorrow I return with 2 lines. That stops the brain from turning 1 day into a sentence. This is where the new version either dies or installs. Each scenario is one decision, plus one minimum, plus one return sentence. Scenario 1. I got home wiped out decision. I'm not trying to make up for it. I'm keeping the thread. Minimum, 5 minutes or 2 if needed, sentence. Today is for keeping the thread, not winning. Pick one right now, 2 min or 3 min. Minimum options, 2 minutes, put on shoes and walk to the mailbox and back. 3 minutes, 60s stretch, plus 60s stretch, plus 60s stretch. One line track, hard day, kept the thread. Scenario 2. I fought with someone, emotions high decision. I won't disappear, I'll pause and return. Minimum, 1 sentence. Plus 1 pause sentence, I'll come back, I won't vanish. Ready-made line. I need time, I'll come back later. 1 line track. High emotion returned with 1 sentence. Scenario 3. I lost the schedule. Everything derailed, found a short decision. The day isn't lost, the order changed. Minimum, 2 minutes now line. I don't need a perfect day, I need 2 minutes now. Scenario 4. Anxiety is high, short decision. I won't perform, I'll go small and real. Minimum 3 slow breaths, plus 1 micro action line. Anxiety high, small and real. Scenario 5. I failed 3 days in a row decision. I won't compensate, I'll return. Minimum, the lowest possible minimum. Done today line. The day after the fall matters most.
If you failed 3 days, your brain sells 2 lies. 1. It's over. 2. Tomorrow I'll compensate. Here's a realistic 24-hour script. Night, before sleep. 1. Write tomorrow's minimum in 1 sentence. Tomorrow my minimum is... 2. Prep the environment in 30 seconds. Shoes visible. Document open. Sticky note on the desk. Morning. Rule. Do the minimum in the first 10 minutes after waking. Then stop. Today is return, not heroism. Night, 1 line. Today I returned. Emily wanted to be the kind of person who doesn't freeze in hard conversations. She would swallow discomfort and then explode or withdraw. Her new self wasn't big speeches. It was one thing, 1 clear sentence. Minimum, 1 sentence per day. No justification, no solving everything. Day 1, I need time to think. Minimum. Day 2, I'd rather we do it this way. Repeat. Day 4, stressful day. Here comes the slip. Her throat tightens. She pauses and still says, I can't talk about this right now. I'll come back tomorrow. That's return, not winning, presence. Step. After weeks, 1 sentence became 2. Then a short conversation. Then a boundary. Track. 1 note on her phone. Today I held 1 sentence. For many people, that's how identity installs. Not through courage first, but through evidence first. Error 1. Compensation. Punishment disguised. You slip and try to do 3x the next day. That becomes debt payment. The brain learns change, pain.
Fix. After a slip, don't compensate, return to the minimum. Error 2. Raising the bar from anxiety, control disguised. You try to secure it by doubling everything. Most reliable sign you raised too early. You start negotiating the minimum. Fix, drop 1 step and make the minimum obvious again. Error 3. Perfect minimum. Ritual that becomes an excuse. Music, timing, perfect setup. And if 1 piece is missing, you do nothing. Fix, a real minimum fits chaos. Error 4. Confusing streak with identity. A missed day becomes a sentence. Fix, streak isn't identity, return is identity. You don't step up by doubling. You step up by 10-20%. Rule 80-20. 80% of days, minimum only 20% of days, small expansion. The signal you can step up is not excitement. It's lack of hesitation. 3 signs the step is ready. 1. You do the minimum automatically at least 5 days a week. 2. On a hard day, you can still do the minimum without fighting yourself. 3. The minimum stopped feeling like a decision. If you step up to calm your anxiety, you're stepping up from anxiety. If you step up because it got easy, you're stepping up from stability. Measure the right thing, not how many perfect days but how fast do I return after I fall. Weekly dashboard. 1% returns after slips. This week, how many slips, how many next day returns? 2. Hesitation time. How long did you delay before doing a 2-minute minimum? 3. Normal days versus peak days. How many normal days did you do the minimum? Simple Sunday close. This week I slipped book times and returned to books times. My next adjustment is courtesans. This is the core. What to do when you slip, because you will. Step 1. Name it without sentencing yourself. I slipped. That's data, not a sentence. Step 2. Decide tomorrow's minimum before sleep. Not tomorrow I'll fix everything, but tomorrow my minimum is X. Step 3. Do the minimum the next day without negotiating. No compensation, no debt payment, just return. In many cases, the morning after the slip is the most important moment, because that's when you teach your system. Falling isn't the end of the story. Punchline. Your new self isn't proven on the perfect day. It's proven the morning after the fall.
4 questions to stay on track. 1. Does my minimum fit 2 to 5 minutes and start in 10 seconds? 2. Can I do it on a hard day or only on a good day? 3. When I slip, do I return the next day with the minimum? 4. Do I step up because it got easy or because I'm anxious? If you answer these right, you're not trying to change, you're installing. Final question, what's your minimum today? If this helped, save this video and come back to this practice on a hard day. And if you want, comment, what's your minimum today? See you in the next video.